Hey guys, it has been an awesome few weeks for me. Been able to have a lot of fun. It all started in Vegas a few weeks ago. I was able to go to NASCAR where Joey Logano was able to get the victory on a fuel strategy. Then I went to NHRA Nationals, also in Vegas. Had a blast. That was right before the SEMA show. Spent a week at SEMA. Came home for a little bit, and then I just went to Dino's car show in Arizona. But what I want to talk with you today about is SEMA and some of the big automotive trends that I have observed that may affect your business. As the COO of X-Cart, we're an automotive platform. So if you sell your parts online, we're a platform where you can specifically designed, I guess, for the automotive industry. So we have built-in features like year, make, model search, a My Garage feature where customers can save their vehicles and only populate products that fit those vehicles. Of course, we integrate with all of your data providers to ensure that we can fully utilize that year, make, model, trim search ability. And then we also work with API connections through distributors. So if you want to look into a drop shipping business in the automotive industry, we allow that solution. So that's kind of what X-Cart does. For me, it's just a huge joy because I love the automotive industry. I love cars. I grew up on cars. I actually got off a call with Joe Coddington not long ago. This is Boyd's wife. Rest in peace, Boyd. But and I had pictures from when I was about 16 years old and I was in Boyd's shop checking out all his stuff. And so my love for automotive goes way back. Anyway, let's cut to the chase here a little bit, talk about SEMA. SEMA was phenomenal, as always. It is my favorite show of the year. It is so fun. Some of the key trends that I really observed this year, one that I'm really happy to report is that the built, not bought movement is continuing forward. Some incredible companies like Factory 5 Racing is one I have followed for over a decade. All right, Superformance is also a kit car manufacturer. But just to see the size of their booths and how they're growing and the quantity of these kit manufacturers that are out there is really exciting to me. I've yet to do a kit car. I've got a few other projects I'm wrenching on right now, but that is definitely in my forecast of things I want to do. Cobras have always been near and dear to my heart. So, but I really love that this built not bought mentality is continuing to grow. It's not just still around, it's thriving. I think that's a really good thing for the aftermarket industry. One of the other things I wanted to touch on here was, and now I'm a hot rod. Give me a nice deep low idle. Give me the smell of nitromethane. Like that's what I love about cars. But you'd be a fool to not notice and take into account that electric vehicles are growing exponentially. Not just for the user, not just for the day-to-day driver, so to speak, but for the performance, for esports, or electronic sports, I mean. Like the electric vehicles are here, and they're here to stay, and they're going to continue to grow. It was really cool to see how many new companies have popped up that are specializing in aftermarket accessories specifically for, like Tesla, for example. Tesloid was there, and they had all of their accessories for the Tesla. So companies like that are doing these, that are really riding this wave of growth in the electric vehicle realm. I think that's a huge trend, and we'd be foolish not to take that into account for what's coming up in the future. The section dedicated to electric vehicles was impressive. It was very cool. And like I said, even as a muscle car guy, it was cool because it's not just about fuel economy and things of that nature. It's about performance now, which is really exciting to me. Another thing that I really wanted to touch on is that the number of international manufacturers that were there, it's never been so big, at least that I can recall. So just the number of international manufacturers to me states that, well, and the other thing that I noticed was that there were so many new startup aftermarket brands at the show this year, more than I can recall in years past. So what I'm seeing is a trend of companies that are starting up and they're utilizing these international manufacturers to start their own brands. And the ones that are successful are the ones that are focusing on a niche, right? It's not these ones that are like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to focus on every exhaust part known to man and I'm going to start this company. No, it's people who are coming in, they're focused, hey, I'm just going to do exhausts for Fox Body Mustangs. That's it. Like, find a niche, find a good manufacturer, build that relationship, come in with some kind of unique product. Like, what is unique about you? And we're seeing that is growing tremendously right now. So it was cool just to see the number of international manufacturers. And I say international because it's not just China. There's manufacturers from all over. I saw manufacturers from Mexico, Taiwan, of course, China as well. I mean, manufacturers all over. Obviously, I think depending on your product line, there's still a huge market for made in USA as well. You look at companies like WeatherTech, for example. Now, WeatherTech has a lot of competitors and a lot of overseas competitors, but they have been so successful, and they emphasize more than any other automotive company that I can think of that they're made in USA. That's something they're very, very proud of. So, but anyway, long story short, I'm kind of rambling. The number of international manufacturers that were at this show was huge, and that tells me that it's worth their time, or at least they think it's worth their time, because there are so many new customers that they have that are entering this industry. So definitely something to take note of. Probably the fourth and final thing I really want to touch on is that the gap between traditional distribution methods in the automotive industry and modern day distribution methods such as e-commerce, drop shipping, using API to access your data, distribution warehouses, etc., versus the traditional method, which is, hey, we're going to send this to dealerships, and dealerships are going to distribute these parts locally. That gap is continuing to narrow and become so much smaller. Obviously, this affects me a ton as the COO of X-Cart, where we're an automotive platform specifically designed to help automotive companies sell their products online. This is something I monitor and I watch very, very closely, but some of these larger companies have had a really hard time making the transition to modern day distribution methods. Whereas startups just jump straight in to the modern day distribution methods, and they're not having to revamp all their processes, and they don't have all this overhead that they're having to worry about and figure out how to optimize past like processes. They're just starting out properly, right? So they have a small competitive advantage in that regard. But these big brands are getting there. They definitely are getting there and doing a good job. SEMA, as always, it's just fantastic time. Gosh, I love that show. I love everything about it. I mean, there's certain aspects of SEMA that, like, I'll go up to a car, for example, and let's say it's a lowrider, it's all glittered out, gold, not necessarily my taste, like my personal preference, but I could stare at that car for an hour and just feel in awe of the artistry and the passion and be so impressed with that vehicle, even though it's not my thing. That's what's so cool about SEMA is there's so many different flavors, right? Depending if you're off-road, if you're lowrider, if you're hot rod, whatever the case might be, if you just love engines, you love cars, you love anything with 2 to 4 wheels, this is the place to be. It is such a fun show, so many fun things to see. I took a lot of video, a lot of photos. Hopefully you enjoy those. But there are a lot of trends happening right now, you guys. And please follow our channel if you want to know more about the automotive industry. Maybe you're considering getting into the automotive industry and you want to know, okay, what do I need to know about this business? What are the good? What's the bad? What do I need to be wary of? Or if you're already in the industry and you just want to stay up to date on latest trends, please follow our channel and we'll keep you up to date. Thanks, you guys.